Welcome to Hope Green. This is England's first carbon neutral and zero bills estate. We've done 97 properties here, over 1,500 panels, lots of battery storage, lots of inverters, and we're on our very, very last installation. So today we're going to take you through the GSE system, what we've done on this fantastic project. So let's get to it. For the viewers' purposes, we've laid out all the kit that you need here. Now, before we put it on, I'll take you through all of the kit that you're going to need, what it does, and how it all lays out. So it's better that we lay it out here so we can show you exactly what you need, and then we'll take you up on the roof, show you some tips and tricks of how we get everything on and make everything run smoothly. So let's get through the kit. These are the trays, the GSE trays. This is where the panels mount on. This is a half tray, so 2 trays are for 1 panel. You don't have to have a certain size of panels. You can have lots of different panels and you can adjust the size of these trays. You have measurements down here on the side where you can line everything up, but I'll show you more of that when we're on the roof. So this is the trays. So these are the lateral flashings, and this is what goes up the side of the trays. This stops all the water from running into the roof, so it'll just bring the water down into your gutter or onto your last tile, depending how it's set. And this will also, these little kickbacks here will stop any capillary going back into the roof. So that's the lateral flashings. I'm not going to pick this up because it's quite heavy. These are the battens, obviously. Wooden batten, 2B1s. This is what the trays sit onto. There's a special way that you have to set these out. You can go on the GSE website and they'll give you drawings to how these lay out, but we will show you a couple of tricks of how we get it to set out and how to lay out. So yeah, battens, that's what you're going to need. This is the GSE integration foam reels. These actually run up the lateral flashings and they'll expand up to your tile. So when you tile up to it, this will expand. These really expand a lot. They're probably only 20 mil thick there, but that'll come to about 70, 80 mil, and that'll expand as soon as the sun hits it. That's another way of stopping the water running capillary back into the roof. That's the GSE foam. These are the flexible flashings. So this runs along the bottom of the GSE tray at the bottom to get the water to run off into the gutter line or onto the bottom tile, depending how you've set out. So you have one at the bottom and also one at the top, the 300 mil flexi flashings. These actually don't come with a GSE kit, but we like to add these on if you're dropping the panels right to the gutter line, so the water can run off and down into the gutter. You can get them from Screwfix, B&Q, anywhere like that. Add these onto your kit and it'll make for a much better installation. These are the mini blocks. So these go at the end of, or under, they sit under these flashings here to stop it pulling in and to stop it like going all skew with. You see a lot of people will miss these out, but to make it look nice, streamlined, keep it all flat, they're pretty essential. So yeah, you've got a L and an half, left and right. They do come inside each other like that. Yeah, essential. So when you're fixing through and fixing it down, use the blocks at either end and it'll keep it nice and straight. The last few things that we haven't got down here, because the lads are up on the roof starting already. Obviously, you need solar panels. There are certain panels that go with the GSE system. You need fire tested panels or fire rated panels. GSE do have a list on their website, so it might be good to check out the GSE website to check what panels integrate with the GSE system. And also you have mids and ends, which are fixing the panels to the roof and to the system. So they're up on the roof. We'll go through that when we're up on the roof and taking you through the whole installation. One last thing. Obviously, it don't come with a GSE kit, but get yourself some Factor 50 sun cream. You're up on the roof all day. in an ideal situation, you're facing south. So keep yourself protected, keep your skin protected, get yourself some Factor 50 sun cream. Now we're up on the roof. It's important with the GSE system that you always start from the bottom. So first port of call will be your battens underneath this drip tray here. Like I said before, this drip tray actually doesn't come in the GSE system, so you have to buy it separately. When putting this drip tray on, it's really important that you follow the natural contours of the roof. So put some batten in, make sure you've got a nice runoff that comes into the gutter. Batten it out on the bottom, then put the drip tray on. Nice natural angle that will follow the water flow into the gutter. Really simple, start from the bottom, get a nice angle, and you're ready to go. It might sound simple, but don't butt these up because there'll be a gap. You can never get them as tight as you want them. So do about 150 overlap, and then that'll stop any water from running inside. And it's also worth mentioning, once this is on, bring over your felt or your vapor barrier over the drip tray, cut it a little bit shorter, then afterwards we're going to get on the flexible flashing. So we'll show you now how the flexible flashing sticks on.
We're just trimming back the felt as it's a bit far down, and now we're going to put the flexi flashing on top, which is what the GSE is going to sit on top of, so everything overlaps. So this is the flashing that's going to go underneath the GSE, which is going to, so any rain is going to fall off that GSE and then go onto the flashing into the gutter.
It's worth mentioning now the boys are getting the bottom flexible flashing on, there's a certain way that it goes up. So as you'll see, at the bottom there's a larger point of sticking. So always have that point at the bottom and then the smaller point at the top. We've also run an extra batten here, so we've got something nice to stick to. Work your way along, use your hand, really get out all the creases so it all looks nice. Stick to your point of your tip of your drip tray there. You can make it look all nice. It's probably also worth mentioning as well that when the heat gets on it and it cools down, these can come unstuck. So if you do find that's going to happen, just to ensure that it is going to stay where it is, maybe get a tube of CT1 and run a bead along the bottom, and then it's never going to come unstuck then. Once that's stuck, then it's completely stuck on. For extra security, to keep it in place, we also put some nails along the top, you know, about every 500 or so. You know, you probably don't have to do that, but we tend to do it just to keep it all in place. And then, you know, it's never ever going to move after that, is it, once you've got the nails in? Now we've got the bottom drip tray on and the bottom flexi flashing, it's now time to start setting out your battens. So we've tried a couple of different methods of how to set these battens out. So you can get a drawing from GSE. If you contact them, they will provide you with a batten layout. But we found a couple of different methods might help you to get it laid out. So you can do measuring sticks and put 2 up either side and then batten it out like that. What we found to be more time saving is if we do like a skeleton run of the GSE trays and run them up in the middle, and then you can find exactly where your battens need to go then. Might take a little bit of time at first, but it's better to get it spot on first time than having to go back and add on more battens. So we're going to do a skeleton run up the middle, start battening on, and then we'll be ready to start putting the trays on. Now the boys are getting the first dummy run up, or the skeleton run. They're going to measure 170 from the edge of the drip tray to keep it even with next door, so we've got a nice parallel run along the bottom, and then they're going to start fixing them in, and then you'll start to know where the battens are going to run in. You have fixing points on these trays where these little arrows are, and you also have the carriers to stop it bouncing through the middle, and also you've got these fixing points here, so this is where the battens need to run. But as soon as we've got the dummy run going up the middle, we can start fixing in the battens and getting it ready to go. Now the boys are sliding the batten in. I'll show you why we put the battens where they are or where they're supposed to go. So you have 3 holes per half a tray. These holes and these fixing holes here, this is what holds the tray onto the batten. So this is what supports the system. And then these arrow ones here, this is what your mids and ends fix onto, so your solar panel can clamp onto the GSE tray. So you're looking at about 3 battens per half a tray. Obviously you already have the roofing battens that are in here to carry the tiles, which are in here before, but about 3 battens per half a tray, and it's going to be nice and solid, and then just carry on working your way up. Now all the battens are on and all set out and everything's ready, we've got a string line at the bottom to keep everything straight, and then everything just goes off that string line. Once you've got your bottom row on, then everything else just follows. So now we're going to start getting on the trays. The trays go on really fast, so once you've got a rhythm going and everything's up and prepared, the trays are going to start going on. You know, we've got 9 panels going on here, so that's 18 half trays. We're going to start getting these on. Should probably only take 15-20 minutes to get on. Start from your string line at the bottom, make sure everything's nice, square and level, and then you just go from there. So it's worth mentioning this GSE install, for some of you eagle-eyed viewers out there, they've got the lateral flashings on already. This GSE stall was a badly installed system. I'm going to mention as well, it wasn't us that installed it. So we're going to actually keep these lateral flashings on the side just to guide up these trays and then replace them afterwards. The reason why we replaced this GSE system is because there wasn't enough battens in it, and the way it was fixed down, it wasn't even going into the batten, so it wasn't structurally sound and it wasn't fixed in properly. As you can see, we've added lots more timbers in the correct position to make everything more sturdy and more streamlined and more safe, and more importantly, done properly. Now we've got the first row of half trays on, it's worth mentioning that you get these measurements that are here. So these are the measurements that guide you for the certain panels that you're going to use for the system. Our panels here are 1720, that's the measurements on them. So you'll get so line up your next tray, which is going on top, and make sure that you're on the line of 1720 right here. So then that will give you your guide, and that will also give you your thermal spacing to allow the correct size panels to go on. Now the trays are on, didn't take long at all, 15 minutes or so for 18 trays, all set out nicely. We're going to replace the lateral flashings in a little bit, but now I'm going to talk to you about the top flexi flashing. So you want to put in an extra batten, so the sticky bit, the sticky top thin bit sits on top of the batten, and then you want to run your flexible flashing all the way along. You do get obviously the joins of the trays, so you do find the contours of the trays. You want to follow your flashing on the contours and then get it all stick down really nicely. And then what that will do is any water that runs off of the tiles here, it's going to carry over the water on the flashing, and the water will run straight down the trays and into the gutter at the bottom. Now that the top flexi flashing is on, the boys are going to start getting the ridge back on, getting the tiles in, and getting it all ready to start panels. So we'll leave the boys to start tiling, and then after that we're going to start fixing in the mids and the ends, which we'll show you, and then it's paneling, and then we're done. So let's let the boys crack on, and then we'll come back and start taking you through the next bits. While the guys are doing all the tiles and also they've gone for their lunch break, I just want to talk to you a little about this project and what we've done and what we've achieved. So today we're installing our very last GSE system, but through the whole site we've installed 96 properties of solar, battery storage, some have just got string inverters. We're immensely proud of this project, personally for me, because it's in my hometown and also Dan, my business partner's hometown. We've built the first carbon neutral and zero bills estate in England. We're immensely proud of everything here. We took over this site about 18 months ago. There was a bit of trouble on site, but we won't go into that. We took over from another solar company. We stripped off all their work because it wasn't up to scratch. And now we've gone back through, and now every property that you see on this site we have completed. It's such a proud moment for us at Greentech. We're really happy with the end results. The client's really happy as well. So if there's any companies or large building contractors out there that are looking for a solar company to install in-roof solar, on-roof solar, battery storage or anything like that, get in contact with us. We're now CHAS, SMAS and construction line accredited, so all the health and safety is taken into consideration. So yeah, please get in contact with us and we hope you enjoy this vlog. Whilst the boys are around at the cutting station, cutting all the tiles, getting them ready to install, I'm just going to show you the mids and the end clamps for anyone that doesn't know. So this is a mid clamp. So as you can see, you have a bit that's left and right, which goes in the middle of a panel, so that clamps down the panel. And then you have an end, which is just like a right angle, which goes at the end. What you want to do is, before any panels go on, you can always put the mids and the ends on first, and then don't put them down tight so you've got a bit of movement in them, and then you haven't got to do it one by one. So put them on before you get the panels. Are you ready to fit the panels on the roof? You get a guide. This is what we were talking about earlier. You get a guide on the tray, which you got the arrows on here, and then they go straight into the batten, which is underneath. Leave them a bit loose so you can spin them round so they're not going to get in the way of the panel. And then you've got one at the end. Also leave that loose so you can spin it around and get the panels on. So get that all prepped up before you start getting the panels on, and then they're all there ready to go, and you haven't got to faff about trying to get them on while you're holding up a, you know, a 20 kg panel. It's all in the prep. As I mentioned earlier, you have to use certain panels for the GSE In-Roof system. These panels that we've used here are the JA Solar 395 watt. It's important that the panels that you do pick for your GSE system are fire rated and approved. GSE do give an approved list on their website. We'll leave the link in the description for these panels. So make sure you do your research and you choose the correct panels for this system. Now the lads have finished all the tiling and everything's on, it's looking good. All we got to do now is put on the solar panels. This is going to happen really quick because of all the prep that we've done. So now let's get up on the roof, do the final touches, get the panels on, and that's it. On these trays you have these little hooks here, and that's what the actual panel will hook over, and then it will clamp down after. So that's the final position that they'll sit in. So there's no messing about trying to shuffle it up and down. They'll hook on here. You've already set out your marks or the width of the trays, or the length of the trays should I say, and then they hook and hang on to there. So there's no holding it up and they can't slide down. Really clever, really sleek design, something as simple as that. Might sound simple for you people who already know about solar installations, but you've got a male and the female. So at that end you'll have the female, and then at the very last panel you have the male. It's always worth mentioning as well, don't punch straight through your felt, because it's gonna, the integrity of the felt is just gone then. So you want to find your natural overlap on your felt here and then pull your DC cable straight through there. This is where the last panel's going to go. To complete a satisfactory and a good job, what we always do is we'll give the panels a good clean, but we won't show you that because no one really wants to see anyone cleaning panels. Clean out the gutters, make sure the scaffolding's all nice and clean, and then that finishes the job. So it's probably about 2 o'clock now. We've stripped this off, got it all reset, all redone. GSE goes on really quick. We think it's an absolutely fantastic system. This is it, the crowning glory. Over 1,650 panels have gone in, and this is the last one. I'd like to thank all the people that have helped us along this project, Matt, Lloyd, all the rest of the crew. Latimer Scaffolding, who's provided all of our scaffolding. It's it, it's done. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you'd like to see any more content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.